Achieving the right balance can be difficult in this global age. At Editors Forum, we bring to you facts.
If private is not mentioned or was not mentioned in that constitution, on what basis will you travel out of the country without transmuting power to the vice president?
Figures.
But let me take the statistic from the state. They said over 300 and some, close to 400 people killed simply because the chief of army staff was kind of stopped briefly from embarking on a journey.
Constructive criticisms.
The chairman of the local government, where else exactly was then, what did they do to curb a so-called abridging or security breaches? They didn't do anything.
An unbiased analysis of stories that made headlines during the week. So join us as top editors analyze these stories every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Galaxy Television. Don't miss it. Alright, you're welcome to another edition of Editors Forum, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to another edition of today's episode. And of course, on this program, we get to discuss front burners, topical issues affecting the country in the past 1 week. I am Rita Omozuwa, and I hope your week has been splendid so far. Well, topping the story so far on the chart, we know that of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is ravaging the world and Nigeria generally. And so far, the update we have that as at 11:42 p.m. on June 5th, that was Friday night, we know that the NCDC confirmed 328 new cases of coronavirus, and we have in total 11,844 cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. So far, number of people discharged is 3,696, and number of deaths is 333. If we see clearly, looking at the analysis, we see that the numbers are really increasing. And unfortunately, still Lagos is topping the chart, as Lagos has total of 5,542 confirmed cases and 902 recovered and 67 deaths. Kano State has 980 confirmed cases, 359 recovered and 46 deaths. Now, the FCT, we have 792 confirmed cases, 215 recovered, and 22 deaths. Now, worldwide, we have over 6.42 million confirmed cases of coronavirus, and so far, number of deaths worldwide, we know that it's a global affair. We have 383,000 cases as confirmed by the Johns Hopkins University. Once again, Nigeria has a total of 11,844 cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, and the word is still stay safe, despite the fact that the federal government and of course the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 in Nigeria has a bit of relaxed more of the lockdown, as we know that the national curfew is no more from 8 p.m. but now it's 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. In other words, once it's 10 p.m., you should not be seen outside. And then from 4 a.m., you can be seen to go outside. So they have more of relaxed the lockdown a little bit more. And now we know that banks are to open fully. We have offices also opening for full operation. We have the airlines here open from June 21st. And also they have relaxed the ban on churches. And even in Lagos State, churches are to open from June 21st, while mosques are to open from June 19th. So we see that gradually we are relaxing the lockdown. But still, the word is stay safe, maintain good personal hygiene, maintain good personal health standards, and make sure you follow the safety precautions. If you're in a crowded place, please make use of your face mask. The truth is that COVID-19 is real, it's still with us, but we still have to survive and the economy still has to go on. So let's follow all the safety guidelines given to us from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the WHO, that's the World Organization, and of course the federal government of Nigeria. Of course, I'll not be alone on today's edition of the show. I have with me the president of the Guild of Public Affairs Analysts of Nigeria. He's also a business economist. In fact, his portfolio is listless. You know that he's a good orator and a writer. Have with me, Ayobaji. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
It's a great pleasure.
I can see you're doing well.
Thank you.
You're surviving, right?
Thank God.
All right.
Against all odds.
Against all odds, we have to survive. The country has to survive. We Nigerians, I know we're survivors, so we have to continue surviving. Well, we'll start on this today's show in quite a sad note, as we know that on Tuesday, it was more like a blackout Tuesday. On social media, we saw it's a blackout everywhere because people are lamenting the incessant rape cases in Nigeria. We heard of the story of Uwaila Omozuwa, who of course was a 100-level microbiology student of the University of Benin. And after that, we also had cases of another rape victim, which was Barakat Bello, who was also a student. We also have after that, we continue to have different stories. We saw a story of an 80-year-old woman being raped, of a 75-year-old woman being raped in Ogun State, and it's really devastating. And there were series of calls to make sure that there are stiff penalties for this culprit, that's of the rapists, and of course there's justice for those who have been victims of this rapist. Now let's take a look at this report as we saw the parents of Uwaila Omozuwa lament and plead for justice to be done for the death of their daughter. We'll be right back.
Go that church, go read. So the same thing, I do that same day. So later in the evening, I receive phone call say, me and they come. Say person will call me say, no know how they do my daughter. Now I tell wrong. Go as I reach there, I come meet her. The stage where I tell meet her. How even one brother who thief, they know they beat her like that. They beat her, tear her pants, rape. I see her from her head to it all blood. Fully body.
Was lying down with full of blood inside their church, Redeemed Christian, which is somebody's right there. We now rushed down and the sympathizer took her to the private hospital in Oma at Ogbeso. When I got there, I looked at the condition. This was around that kind of 8:39. And the management of the hospital now told me that I should go to police. That without going to the police, then we stop this treatment. I went to the police division at Urugbeni to make a reference later by taking the girl to a better hospital like UBT, a government hospital, where I know there are facilities. Then it came to my mind that let me visit the scene of crime this time. Let me see what happened. And I went there, where they now went and brought the key of the church from somewhere. They opened, while they see blood on the floor of the church. That the girl was beaten up here with full of blood and it was dragged to this place. Fire extinguisher was there, and the fire extinguisher was even damaged. For a fire extinguisher to be damaged, no, but it was the weapon used by the perpetrator to damage the girl's life. A reference to that to UBT. that what I saw in the scene of the incident, it will be difficult for the girl to survive in this hospital.
Fingerprint expert actually lifted the fingerprint on the cylinder while the lady was taken to a normal hospital in Ovede, Ibobahi, Benin City, for treatment. While she was with Enoma, still in a state of coma, Enoma Hospital referred her to the University Teaching Hospital, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, Benin City. Unfortunately, the divisional police officer in charge of Ibobahi on the 28th, on the 31st May 2020, that Miss
3 weeks, the prime suspect confessed how he killed the young man and buried him in a shallow grave. He was also aware of how Miss Vera Omozuwa, Uwaila Omozuwa, was raped in the house of God and subsequently murdered by the rapists. If this can happen in the house of God, that shows that we are no longer safe.
Nigeria has become a failed state because today we have no forensic. We have no forensic. If we have forensic, we will register their DNA. Today, every nation has moved ahead for DNA. But what we have here is SARS officer extracting men and women, searching their bags everywhere. It's preposterous.
We exhumed the body, and I tell you that justice must be served. The case of Vera, we're also indeed mourning as a command. And I tell you that as we are speaking here, gathering here, the National Assembly is on that case. And the Inspector General of Police too has ordered for the immediate transfer of this case from the command to Force CID.
Worried about the disturbing growing state of violence against women and girls recorded throughout the country, the House is concerned that the most common violence against women and girls are rape, sexual harassment, emotional and psychological violence, and socio-economic violence. The House is disturbed that women and the girl child are daily exposed to this gender-based violence in Nigeria with negligible.
Alright, you're welcome back. You're still on to Editors Forum, exclusive to Galaxy Television, and right now on the table we are discussing the incessant rape issues in Nigeria. And of course, this has been brought to the front burner due to the recent issue of the death of Uwaila Omozuwa. Of course, she was a 100 level student of microbiology in the University of Benin, and of course we know the one in Ibadan, as I said earlier, on Barakat Bello, and so many people who have suffered rape, abuse, and of course some of them that died. Of course, our thoughts and our prayers are with the families, and we do hope that your souls rest in perfect peace. But this issue has been going on from time to time. People have kept quiet due to rape, whether you were small or not, and lots of Nigerians, lots of women are calling for an end to it. Unfortunately, the House of Representatives said, or rather rejected the vote for castration of rapists, and of course this caused a lot of controversy on the Nigerian news space. Of course, joining us now we have Yemi Saka with us on the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's nice to be here.
I'm happy I'm having men on the I always have men on the show, so on a particular issue like this I always like to have their viewpoint. Now off air, Yemi Saka was giving me another another definition of rape. Now lots of people would say, let's look at the main issue why we have rape cases in in Nigeria. And now people would say she said her no is yes and her yes is no. I don't know how you men do it, but there's this saying that when she's saying no, she actually means yes. And they have said thousands of times that no is no and yes is yes. So what's your own viewpoint on that?
Well, let me state this for the record, and it's not just for the record, my perspective. Okay. No means no. All right. True. No. There are no two ways to it. No means no. But I was trying to tell you. I think our generations and probably generations before us, our definition of rape is not as if it changed or let me say perception. You probably would think rape is when you use all the physical force to subdue a woman to have sex. That is when you see them like, why do you have to do that? We frown at it. But you see, in a situation where we had naughty uncles, what have you telling you that if she says no, don't worry, she means yes. Any guy, I'm not making excuses, but any guy that is street smart grew up with that perception. It doesn't make it right. And when we grew up into the awareness that no truly means no, we know, okay, fine, we've done wrong. Occasionally, you still lose your head at still thinking it's just that was what we grew up with. But no means no. Don't get me wrong. But it's just to clear it now that we believe that the perception we had then about rape is wrong.
So now you're bringing a cultural perspective.
It wasn't a written culture. It wasn't as if there is a family meeting or a village meeting or a regional meeting.
So it's an uncle to son meeting now.
It's like they used to call. If I can borrow the street parlance, bro code. But it's not as if it is right. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But you think when you're in the room behind the closed doors with the woman, she says no, you don't bring out knife, you don't bring out guns, you're still caressing her, trying to get in between her, and you think perseverance. And sometimes, and most oftentimes in those instances, you go beyond it, and you see a relationship before, after, and afterwards. So you probably think, okay, I know was yes. That was the wrong notion most guys grew up with. I'm not holding brief for rapists, don't get it wrong. It's a wrong perception which we have to deal with. Now, there's another issue we need to deal with here. A lady that grew up with, that experienced that, could wake up to realization 20, 15 years later and realize that was rape. Now doesn't mean you cannot apply seek closure. All right. You can probably call the guy, and probably the guy, okay, fine, what I did was wrong. That was, but we could all find closures on all dimensions. But for me, when I was younger, in fact, when I was in university, without being boastful here, I knew ladies I saved from being raped at shows and what have you, tries at Cultural Center Abeokuta. Okay,
let me just stop you there. You said you saw ladies being raped, but there's also another stuff that people say part of your bro code. There's this stuff that she's the one that started it. Her dressing costume. Do you see that as an?
No. That one is the most idiotic. Sorry for my choice of word. The most barbaric, the most insensitive thing you could say. When our forefathers before the Europeans came with clothes, they're probably walking around stark naked. Why don't you go to America and go to Miami Beach, and because you see them in bikinis and whatever and start jumping on women? Why don't you go to Rio de Janeiro and tell me because they're having some baths or sometime you want to start jumping on women? It's not an excuse. But you see.
But you believe that some men use that as an excuse?
Some men wickedly, foolishly, stupidly, insanely use it as an excuse. Because I will cite instances, and we have a lot of police. It's easy for us to blame Nigerians, the young guys. The moral fabric has been shredded. But we have to look at the police. Okay. I live close to barracks. You see the young girls and what have you see them jumping with one young officer, or probably even officer holding even their father's colleagues. And by the time you ask them, like you tell them, but I didn't meet the girl intact, she's been deflowered before I got there, a girl under 16, and you take a case to a police officer like that somebody had sex with a minor, he probably would think it's the normal thing because he's into it. So we need to even let our police know that rape is rape. Because it's sad that it's endemic, and we cannot really have a national approach to this thing. Because when a section or a part of the country believe full age and age of consent is 18, and some people will tell you that once a young girl starts menstruating, she's an adult, or you can marry from the age of 11, 12, 13. There's a conflict. Now, you see people, especially people from northern Nigeria, I probably need to be straightforward here and don't have to call a spade a cutlass. Will tell you it's our culture, it's this, we don't have any. But how many commissioners in Kano, Katsina, Niger, Borno, Zamfara allow their underage daughters to get married? How many of them were set if you come to ask seek for their daughters and in marriage that's under 18? So to them, I think northerners have to wake up and see probably to wait because once a girl gets pregnant at the age of 13, 14, it takes the miracle of God to make her get her life back.
Okay, thank you very much, Yemisaka. Let's hear from you.
And the final one.
All right.
If you educate a girl child to as high as secondary school, you've increased the GDP of the nation by 0.02%.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. You've raised some salient issues. You talked about teachings, bro code being passed on from uncles to unwritten bro codes being passed on from guys, uncles to young men. You talked about the police not having a right ideology of what rape is. You talked about northerners, this underage marriage coordinator, and you talked about girl education also. So over to you. Now he's from the, I would say, at least from the older perspective. Now, what's your own view? Why do we have incessant rape? Do you also agree on the fact that this ideology that people have, that probably she caused it, or there are a lot of reasons that men give for, or rather as an excuse for rape?
No, so, men, some men.
Okay, some men. Yemisaka is trying to excuse himself from it. Okay, Ayobate.
Thank you very much. For me, evil has no other name. Anything wrong is wrong.
All right.
Rape has suddenly become our new pandemic, and it's an issue that is global in nature. It's not just the Nigerian situation, but it's something that has to be taken very seriously. Back in September 2011, I wrote an essay in my Drumbeats column, and it was published by both Daily Independent and Daily Sun. And it's reflected in my book here, Drumbeats of Democracy, on page 291. That is, the rapists must die. I quoted from Deuteronomy 25, verse 22, that says categorically that when a man rapes a woman or a girl, the punishment is death. And there is no reasonable or acceptable culture that will tell you that you can enforce your own will on somebody else, especially a woman, without her own consent. See, it is a violation of somebody's rights. And you can imagine the psychological torture and even stigma if it becomes known in the public sphere that somebody has been raped. Now, we look at the issues at stake. I believe that it is lack of self-control. It is a rampaging monster. It is the fact that here in Nigeria, there's this culture of impunity. I've always, lamented over the fact that people do wrong, but they go scot-free because the enabling law is not there. In the 1999 Constitution as amended, there's nothing like rape. But we have it in the criminal code, sections 357, 358, and 359. They talk about the issue of rape, and I think life imprisonment. Lifetime imprisonment is the issue that was more or less accepted. Okay. But today we have maybe between 14 years and then life imprisonment. Whatever it is, we have just seen that the National Assembly rejected castration, and some of us are saying, what's the meaning of castration? Go further. We want something that is strong enough to serve as a deterrence to others.
So you feel castration will not be enough to stop rapists?
Death. And I'm emphatic on it. Because, human beings, our mind, the mind of a man is very fertile. Once you sow an evil seed there, it will germinate. That's why someone like me, from day one, I've always said that like the issue of giving amnesty to criminals, to killers, I think is an injustice. It's the greatest injustice you can ever think about. How will others learn? And there are some other people there idle in mind who are the devil's workshop, and what will they think that, oh, if somebody has killed another fellow and has gone scot-free, then I can do the same thing as well, and even I'll be fed by the state or the federal government. So the issue of rape is a very serious one. The time I wrote that essay, it was informed by some issues. A teacher was caught and even presented at the magistrate court in Ota. The name of the man, Pastor Jose. And he confessed that he raped 10 schoolgirls. And there was a woman who came out to cry bitterly that out of these 10 schoolgirls, 3 belonged to her. And that not just rape, the man went further using one white handkerchief to do the rubbish. And then after that, some ritual practices took place. So, and that when the daughters grow up, how will they feel? So it is that trauma, that psychological, effect on the victim that should inform what I have, been, asking for. Let there be death sentence, and then everybody will sit up. So if you see that section 357, 358, 359, it's applicable only to the southern part of the country.
Okay, Ayo,
so,
now you're saying death penalty for rapists.
Yes.
Now what about some, because there was another story again we saw of 75-year-old woman being raped, 80-year-old man. Can we say that the reason for that was lack of self-control, or there's actually a mental problem with that kind of person? Because I don't understand how a young man of 25-year-old will be raping someone of 80-year-old.
Very good. Let me bring this issue. Many of the evil acts that we talk about on, air like this, or we write about, you dovetail them. When you look at them and you see that, what's the root cause of this? And the root cause is that the family unit, especially in this country, has broken down. The family unit has broken down. The father is not there for the child. The mother is not there for the child. The child is just giving back to and left. And you can see the Almajiri conundrum that we are, battling with now. It's an issue that, why should people even have more children than they could adequately cater for? So when the children are not brought up very well, you said you're asking me because I belong to the older generation, to the old school. Yes. In our own time, the penalties were very stiff. In this book, that chapter that I believe, I say, has morality gone to the dogs? And I think, yes, morality has gone to the dogs. If you punish the evildoers, the others will learn. Let me tell you, the figures, we are not even, some that we get to know, they are few compared to those that are not even coming out. In that year that I wrote it, 2011, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the figure was very scandalous, very alarming. You look at it, 40 rapes per day, one of the highest in the world. Similar ones in South Africa. They kept on, and then in 2015, the United Nations, had a look at rape cases in Nigeria and said 20% of women in Nigeria, in one way or the other, are affected. And even by that, before the age of 18, they will have been violated. Their sanctity will have been violated. So, what do you expect? So, it's not the fact that, yes, there may be some mental problem. Laziness is there. The types of things they watch, the drugs they take, so many factors may come into play. But it starts, like I have told you, from the family. If the family, the fellow is well brought up, he knows what is right, what is wrong. And then, of course, most of these people that commit all this crime, don't they go to churches? Don't they go to mosques? Are they not taught? Don't they go to school? Do they not attend one form of institution of learning or the other? But the fact is that they lack that inner compulsion to say, no, this is wrong, this is the right thing, I will not do so. Because somebody that you are raping is somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, maybe somebody's mother. I hope you understand. And when you know the implication that if you are caught, you are going to die. Of course, let me explain this issue. In China, for instance, some other South East Asian countries, the penalty for corruption is death. Especially financial corruption, once you are caught. And Whether you like it or
not.
Once
there's that fear.
That fear is there, they will not come to it. So that's why people like us keep saying that, no, don't bring morality level to that low level. You know, it's so depressing that you have people that have done wrong, then you give them amnesty, you feed them with federal government money, and then you now say, I mean, no, it's not the right thing. Then of course you ask yourself, who are those, behind all these crimes? Who are those behind all these crimes? Are they brought to book? Are they brought to speedy justice? He mentioned the issue of the police. By the time the matter is even taken to court, do you have the justice?
Okay, I'll still come over to you, Yemsaka. I want to ask another question now, because we know that it's not only singles that rape a young girl. We know that there are also issues of marital rape also going on, that in the sense of consent between the husband and wife. We have some wives also complaining that their husbands are raping them. So because a lot of people are still complaining, even married women say, okay, my husband is raping me. So what's your own ideology with that? Would you now say that the husband too should be given a death sentence for that? I imagine.
Okay, you want me to answer?
Yes, I want you to answer. I'll still come to Yemisaka. Yemisaka, I will excuse because you are not married yet.
That's very interesting.
Don't trust us.
I mean, let's say this. I mean, let's be honest. A wife complains that the husband has raped her.
Because now we're giving the context of no is no and yes is yes. So once your wife tells you no, and you then still forcefully have carnal knowledge of her, will that also be considered as rape?
Let me explain it this way. During the process of courtship, right to the time of maybe the ceremony, the wedding, and all the rest, then of course they are married. Of course, what's the woman is to subject to at least the man, in terms of sexual desires, and there should be a mutual understanding. We expect that there are people that are grown up, there are people at least that understand each other, and there are people that will know when to do this and when not to do it. So, I mean, with regards to that, I don't think the wife may stand any very good, have any good standpoint to say my husband has raped me. People not even listen.
Well, we've had series of cases like that.
I'm not denying it. Somebody, I've had a call before. Somebody complaining what the husband has, done to her. I hope you understand. But and it is with this regard. But we are saying that outside marriage, I mean, how do you rape somebody of? The issue that the first lady is taking interest in now. Just a few months old girl was raped.
I was.
Okay, let's clear here.
I'm not very strong on that.
On the issue of marriage. Okay.
Once it's marriage, I don't think.
Let me ask you, Yemisaka. Let's go over to you.
You see, when we're saying no is no, I don't think there should be an exception or exemption when you want to apply no is no. That's why I said to you that sometimes, oftentimes growing up, most guys or most men these days felt or assumed erroneously that rape is when you use physical force. They consider, you see, that's what you see, we have to strike.
So is that ignorance you are putting now? Can you say
that an excuse?
Because I cannot think a man of 25-year-old is so ignorant not to know that.
I want to ask you a question. I'm driving at something.
Okay, continue.
And I understand when he said something that a woman should subject to a husband, a marriage, and everything. In the past, it's a norm. It's normal. Yeah. But as we speak today, that statement is sexist. So we're catching up with a trend. And we are getting to realization and awareness that some things which we felt was normal is wrong. We're not talking about pedophiles.
Yeah.
And you see, okay, I'll cite another instance. There was a lady that came to me. She said she had issues, she wanted to talk. And she was a bit high on alcohol. And she was very playful.
Okay.
And I told her, I said, to her face, that you're under the influence, I can't do anything. Because if I do, it is rape. Some few days ago, she was like, Yemi, thank you for that. But the same Yemi, probably a lady will come out, maybe if she's in her 30s now, 20s, and say, when I was 16, when you were probably out of secondary school and university, we had it and I was underage. It started to rape. But at that time, because this same person I'm telling you told me that she had a boyfriend that was more older, And she gave herself willingly to the guy, and she was under 18. And I said, whether you like it or not, if I give yourself willingly or not, in our law, maybe from Kwara, Kogi upward, it is normal. But you see, from Ekiti, Ondo, Edo down to southeast, it's a crime.
Okay, I don't want to drag this issue too much now, but we're looking at contributing factors. I still understand your point now. Do you feel that the Nigerian music or even the music of today has also influenced or contributed to the increased rape cases in Nigeria?
I saw a movie called Set It Off. I've seen a movie called 44 Minutes where there was a serious girl robbing a bank robbery in America. Why don't I just pick an AK-47 and start robbing banks?
Okay.
It's just,
so it's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
Yes, exactly so.
It's not an excuse. Why, if you know that, okay, you are so crazy and you want to, yes, you believe you are a rapist, yes, that you have an excuse to justify it. Why don't you go to Aso Rock and go and get the daughter of Mr. President? Or go to Lagos State House and think you want to get the daughter of Sanwo-Olu? Or go to the barracks, is it 82 or what is it called in Ikeja Cantonment? And tell you want to go there and see and rape the daughter of the GOC. There are some predators around.
Okay, for the punishment now, quickly, let's so that we can round up this topic: castration or death? Because Ayoba just talked about death. He said death is a punishment.
You see, anywhere in the world, punitive measures is meant to be correctional.
Okay.
Because there's somebody. I'll probably get a movie. Catch Me If You Can. The guy was a forger, was a scammer, but still ended up working for the FBI. That doesn't mean somebody that did wrong cannot be rehabilitated or reformed, but he must do his time. 25 years, what have you? Castration. Well, there's some people. I've seen people that are raped that end up committing suicide.
Yes.
I've seen people, but you know, it's a different. It's very delicate. I know the stigmatizing, even the society, because you see, the bottom line is we need a massive reorientation that this is rape. And please, if this happens, encourage your daughters to speak up.
Yes. Because a lot of people are keeping quiet because of the stigmatization.
Stigmatization. And you know the one other thing, we need, you see, I saw somebody that said in Norway it probably takes 4.5 years to train a police officer. In America it takes probably 9 months. That was justifying, that was to place the way extrajudicial killing by the police. But I think we need to educate our police. We have a fundamental problem. Everything wrong in this country, every crime that we need to deal with, you have perpetrators in the force. To them, then they see it as a normal.
So if those that to punish offenders are actually also criminals,
my lawyer said that she was at the police station, and a woman walked in and said her husband battered her. If a police woman said to her that if your husband is making love to you, to come and tell us. That was her response.
Okay, all right. We have.
Don't before I know.
Okay, quickly, please, because we still have other topics. Yes.
See, I'm back to that same issue. The family unit is very, very important. It's critical.
Okay.
The father, the mother, they must be there for their children. Institutions of learning is one of the issues they should be,
That's like, would you say sex education for children?
Exactly.
They shy away from it.
Because a lot of parents, that's on that issue again, we see that a lot of parents also run away from educating their children.
Religious institutions. But it's very, disheartening these days that you get stories of pastors, prophets.
Even the case of Uwaila, this one is in a church, in a redeemed church.
In a church, inside the church, it's reprehensible. It's something that is so terrifying and horrible that you cannot even imagine that it could take place.
I think we should lay emphasis on reorientation, and advocacy, and relying on. You see, we've been too religious to even talk about sex with our kids.
Yes.
And we're doing a great disservice to the future generation. We should face this thing. It's a pandemic.
All right, we have messages here. Let me read some of the messages here. Most of Nigerian hip-hop musicians sing always about sex with erotic dancers naked. These are the songs the youth listen to and watch. They promote unnecessary sexual urge that give rise to rape cases. That was from Yemi.
That's my last song with ladies, almost like that now. It's not new.
Okay, let's let all rapists face a death penalty. My name is James. We have another one. Rape issues is the violated is violated that result to capital punishment. That's from Julius. We also have another one. Good afternoon, house. I am Joseph Onoda from Kogi State. Rape is a very bad thing to think of, but have you people seen the way girls behave? Ladies are even matured women dressed showing themselves half naked, thereby conceiving negative thoughts in the hearts of men, which results to rape. Please note that. As they said earlier on, there is no excuse to rape. Once she says no, there's other people we can say. Once she says no, please, no is no. Thank God that Yemi Sakana gave us a hint of the bro code. Please, the no is not yes. The no is no. There's no excuse, because it's no excuse. No is no. If the uncle is telling you you're not a sharp guy, you're not being smart, please, that is not it. If not, don't get me. Penalties are waiting for you.
See, we need to educate people that rape is not just about when you use physical force on a woman.
Yes.
To subdue her.
It's not only about physical force. Yes.
Because most of us grew up with the concept of rape being physical force.
Okay.
So we have to correct. We need to educate people. A lot of even ladies, I'm not making excuses now, even think they must just say that no before they say yes. We say it's both sides.
There needs to be real reorientation.
That your no is no, stand your ground. And when the lady says,
I don't think between couples is a rape but domestic violence. Better for the woman to leave the marriage. That is Yusuf Olaya. So he said between couples it's not rape, it's domestic violence.
And emotions matter. The woman might just be a day she's just angry with you, and she just said no, and that's rape.
Okay.
And it's rape, truly.
All right. The idea of raping aged women and underage babies and children, I believe, is for money ritual and is very bad. Yes, we are also having issues again that this issue of especially for a small child, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, is also issues of rape. So I think security agencies need to really look at the main causes of this. We talk about reorientation, we talked about the family, we talked about music, movies, we talked about mental issues, we also talked about ritual issues here going on. Please, we also advise parents, please watch your words, watch your children. This is not the era of sit down, my lap and the rest. Please make sure you watch your children. Please give them proper sex education. Tell them what is not right, what is right. Tell them about the parts of their body. This is not the time for you to exclude information from them, because if you don't tell them things, then they will hear the information outside. So we're still going to serious issues and face it wrongly. So please, please, we're advocating no is no, please. All right, we'll go over to other serious issues here again as we heard of killings in southern Kaduna. I was speaking with someone from Kaduna and he said it's a normal thing. and that is very devastating to say that people dying, killings in southern Kaduna is a normal. So what is wrong? What have our security agencies failed to do? Ayobaje.
Thank you very much. Oh my God. The book of Isaiah, that is, states it clearly. It should be 57 verse 17.
Okay.
That their feet are very fast to move to evil. They like to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity. They do not have the fear of God in them. 1987, it was a religious crisis. 1992, the same Kaduna, it was the Zango Kataf issue that led to so many deaths. 2011, post-election violence, that I read some coppers, we lost some coppers in that post-election, but it's the same Kaduna issue. And then, again, this is my book, page 265, you see there, Southern Kaduna killings and Nigeria's fragile unity. Some things happened that were very touching, because we don't have a regard for the sanctity and the sacredness of human life here in Nigeria. Even our leaders that swear by the constitution that where I will protect the lives and property of the average citizen, they do not do that. They go there with their own agenda, and the agenda could be anything. Let me explain. Why did I write that very essay at that time? 53 villages were laid wasted, burning and all the rest. 16 churches were burnt, right? 808 people died, and the government folded its arms.
And people are
there was no rapid response. The Christian community in Southern Kaduna, as well as the Southern Kaduna Union, they had to, raise their voices before El-Rufai, the governor, came up and said he has identified the killers. He has paid them off.
Paid the killers?
Yes. Paid. He has identified the killers. He has paid them off. And that normalcy will return. Can you imagine that? That's why I wrote that article. How can somebody who is the number one citizen of a state, the lives and property of the citizens, you are their number one protector, and now you say you have identified. You see, the pain I used to have is this: the way and manner we treat criminals, killers in Nigeria, as if their lives are more precious than their voiceless victims. This has to stop. We cannot go on like this. In that essay, I listed, from the first century down to where we are today. In any country where you have ceaseless bloodshed, there can be no progress. Now, people are asking today, is Nigeria under a curse? Why not? Nigeria is under a curse. When you kill and kill and kill, you cannot create one hair. But you can take a whole human being who has 73 trillion cells, and you think nothing will happen to it. I mean, this is it. I think that the Nigerian nation has to come to a moment of sober reflection. This is still the Nigeria, the Ziks, the Ahmed Bellos, the Awolowos, the Macaulays. This is not the country, the nation they struggled for. This is not it at all. It's far away from where we are today. That is, don't come to power with your to satisfy only your whims and caprices. Don't come to power and say, okay, so far I satisfy my own people, I don't care what happens to the others. No. See, if those people that El-Rufai paid were brought to the public sphere, like I was saying, there should be death sentence for the rapists. Those who kill must die. There's no two ways about it. It will
you kill by the sword, you die by the sword.
You die by the sword. It will send a very strong message, and it will serve as a deterrent to the others. But the way and manner, just of recent, somebody was complaining in Northern, saying that even though they have given amnesty to, they are even violating the laws and principles they signed, and that they don't even care.
All right, so in other words, government has put on their part. They need to be more stiffer in their penalties. Okay, let's take a look at this video clip now. We have Kaduna residents calling for security aid. These are people who have, in fact, if you had seen the video, it was quite a very wholesome video. You saw children, innocent children being killed by, according to alleged reports by Fulani headsmen, and this is really a devastating effect in the northern part. You would not know how it is. Imagine seeing your children being killed just like that for no reason. Let's take a look at that clip and we'll be right back.
The thing is overpowering us. Then they had to kill some of our people there this morning. Okay, they've killed about 9 people this morning. I know Fidelis Wada, I know Richard Yusuf, I know Kefas Yusuf.
Around 5 o'clock exactly in the morning. Early in the morning we hearing they are shooting for the other village. Then we rest up and follow them. Then they used to be shooting us. But some of us, they got them, but some of us, we free. It is because of Almighty God, our support. If so not, we should have collapsed.
Da sun shigo mana jin sai suka fara harbi. To lokacin da na cire iyalina sai na saya a bayan gida.
I lost my wife and 2 children in the attack. When armed men entered our village and started shooting, I told my family members to run away while I stood outside to protect the house. I didn't know they had followed them. My wife and 2 children were killed, and one of my daughter, who was badly injured, is at the hospital.
If other people will form militants to kill the Fulani, now Fulani are killing us, what name would they give them? See it? See what the government are doing? So I don't know. Well, Everything is in the hands of God. And that's where we stand on.
Alright, you're welcome back. You're still on Traders Forum exclusive to Guys Television. The clip you saw there, that's residents of Kajuru community, and they were narrating how the attackers attacked the villages and killed their children, wives, children being killed unjustly. And once again, before we went for that video clip, Ayobaji talked about the failure of the government to act on the atrocities of this what I say, I don't want to tag them as Fulani headsmen, but that's the reports we're getting there. So yeah, Misaka, what's your take on it? Because it has been going on and on security issue.
When you want to sound politically correct, I laugh. Have you ever, in your over 30 years of being alive, seen an Ijebu man, Ijebu where I come from, you seen a Ijebu man being a header, or Efik, or Ibira, or somebody from a German or a German? It's only Fulani that are headers. That's why we say, why don't you want to say Fulani headsmen? It's Fulani headsmen.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not saying all Fulani headsmen are killers, but these headsmen killing are Fulani headsmen or killer headsmen or Fulani killer headsmen. You cannot remove that Fulani from it, because I've not seen an Ijebu man as a header, so you cannot, don't give me that. That is one. Let's drop that. Secondly, when it's leaning towards Ayo's position, what has been the actions of this government since first day into office? Headsmen, IPOB never supported their agitation, because I've always been a pan-Nigeria. We think we can always still coexist together. But IPOB has not ransacked a village, a community. The federal government even wrongly classified it as a terrorist organization before they now went about it the right way.
Exactly.
Because the chief of army staff who declared IPOB terrorist organization didn't have such powers. He lies to the Attorney General of the Federation.
Okay.
And must come, the Attorney General of the Federation must approach a court and must make a pronouncement from the court. Fulani headsmen that have killed, killing, and will still kill. I don't classify as terrorist organization. I'll cite an instance. The Mogadishu barracks, a detachment, a unit from it was on a mobile a stationary patrol between Nasarawa and Abuja. Caught a truckload of Fulani headsmen with assault rifles, and when under question said they were going to be venged. Till date, those guys have not stepped a foot into the courtroom. Miango in Jos, the sector commander, probably the platoon leader that led the contingent, said they underestimated the firepower of the advancing headsmen. That's why they came to that village, slaughtered people. And you know, whether you like it or not, we will blame President Buhari for this. I don't want to blame El-Rufai, because I don't want to blame Buhari for security.
Well, El-Rufai, that's more like his prerogative.
I'm coming. I don't want to blame, because I want to be blaming the presidency for security issues in every other part of the country. When it comes to Kaduna, I'll narrow it down to El-Rufai. Because no governor has the control, the command and control structure of the civil defense, the DSS, the police, and the military doesn't lie with the governor. It lies with the commander-in-chief.
Okay.
You cannot demob and mobilize a troop or a battalion and what have you. You don't give orders. You can't. The signal cannot come from your office.
Okay, now another alarming thing that what's talking about, another alarming thing is that people are even saying that these are not even Nigerians.
Excuse me.
That's another issue that we're having.
I'm still going to come to that.
Yes.
I'm still going to come to that. And when you look at the pronouncement of Mr. President, in some instances, you hear annoying, offensive, insensitive statement that the child has dried up, they have to move, grazing route has been blocked, you have to accommodate your brothers. Now they will now tell you that you now tell that the cattle rustling is the cause of killer headsmen. How can you? It's only madness and wickedness. You equate human life
with that of cow
to that of cattle or cow. I don't know where you come from.
Okay.
Then secondly, we are saying these people are killing. You've not brought anybody to justice. You've not even declassified them. You know, okay, we've classified those that are killing to force the group as a whole to reform its approach and everything, that they will not come with so much brazen impunity and arrogance to say that we did it because of revenge or this will not happen. This, he has now claiming he wants to give them people's land.
Can you imagine that?
So what are you saying? I'll cite instances, and I'll tell you this, like I said off here. You see, and to the average northerner, sometimes I don't pity them, because in their words, they are a little bit pissed. They are not really pissed because their brother that is in power. Okay. If they are really pissed, they will demand actions. Because I can't imagine. I was in Kaduna. A lady walked in. I was with my friend in Kaduna. Our husband, from our ex-husband then, now ex-husband, but then was our husband, is a person of the Air Force. This lady walked in, beautiful, fine girl and everything. And you know what she told me? When she was narrating her story, how her brother in the Air Force died. Our brother was the classmate, colleague to my friend's husband. And people have killed, and so one man has the nerve to wake up and tell me wants to grant them amnesty.
Okay, let's talk about the issue of foreigners, and even the fact that some of even the allegations now of them paying off the villagers too.
Yeah. Let me
Ayobaji, quickly, please.
Let me say this. The question to ask ourselves: who has been arming these Fulani herdsmen? There's a particular photograph that I used to post once in a while, once a year, on Facebook. It has to do with when I was in Lokoja, the photograph I had with Fulani herders or herdsmen. They were not armed, only sticks that they had.
So when it is carrying guns,
so I did not see them as dangerous people to me or to the people that I was supposed to take care of. But the insinuation is that sometime in 2014, some people were brought in just to prepare them for any eventuality. If somebody did not win whatever he wanted to win, but at the end of the day, those people who were left, then the arms and ammunition were not taken from them. That is one. Then secondly, we have the issue of, you look at it, visa on arrival. Can you imagine that? You are coming from Mali, you are coming from Niger, you are coming from...
what about even the borders?
The borders are porous. I've written about that before. The borders are porous. Who is...
I was saying the border between Sokoto and Niger.
Then why are we hammering on the fact that the borders are closed?
No, listen. When you give that type of, you allow that type of obnoxious policy, visa on arrival. Oh, my kinsmen can come from Mali, they can come from Niger, they can come from Chad. We are taking over this whole country. That's the concept. It is very annoying. Let me say this.
And a quick interjection for me.
The issue is this. No matter what topic we talk on, is the issue of impunity. People doing wrong, then you just you just slap them on the wrist and say go. Or you are even encouraging worse crimes to take place.
You see,
this is not acceptable.
Punishment. Okay, quickly, one word, Yamisaka, one word, please.
I think there's a need for, because forget about the governor's song they go to, forget about the council of state meeting they go to, until a governor or governors from northern Nigeria give Muhammadu Buhari the treatment OBJ gave Jonathan as an open letter. No, if you don't drag Buhari, you will not have.
But there have been different open letters that there have been many open letters and nothing has been done yet.
If a governor from this region, because for about self-preservation, they are not crying out loud. When they cry out loud and demand, in Katsina State they are killing them. How can you be, when they are killing his kinsmen, even in Dara, where he comes from, it's not safe. You not the Buhari not himself back Kaduna. When they are killing in Dara, he comes from, is not safe.
All right, time is really not on our side.
As a way forward, restructuring is
restructuring. Okay, my name is Kolawole Samuel. Our government is very selfish. They do not care for the citizens of the country. Anyone that finds himself guilty of rape should be castrated. That's from Kolawole. Of course, messages are still pouring in, and our hearts and prayers and thoughts still go with all those who have been killed. We also had news in Kogi State. Yes, we saw that there were robbers at a bank and they killed about the DPO and 9 other people. May their souls rest in peace. And we see that.
Sorry, before you get a quick one from me, people are just taking out something. I probably want to say this on national TV.
Quickly, one word.
When Offa robbery happened, instead of the police to do justice to that job, it became Bukola Saraki was the mastermind.
All right.
Where is Kayode Opadoku?
All right, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have to end this show. Thank you very much, Yemi Saka, and of course, Ayo Baje. Security agencies, federal government should do the needful to stop these insurgencies in the country. And please, no is no. Stop rape. End to rape, please. All right, thank you very much for being a part of us on Editors Forum. Do join us same time, same station next week for another edition of Editors Forum. I am Rita Modia. Do stay safe.